Lady Fatima Charitable Trust, Mukhtar Karim. Mukhtar, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Gaza is very densely populated. This could get very bad indeed.
Of course, and the way we've looked at this at the Lady Fatima Trust is in three portions. So first, in order to protect the population that is in such a densely populated area where medical facilities are so sparse and supplies are so difficult to get into, it is more than just ensuring that the right test strips are there and enough ITU units are present. Corona has no cure or vaccine. So the only way to support a patient is by ensuring good ITU facilities. Gaza just does not have them. But beyond that, in protecting it, it's not the physical well-being of the person only, as important as that is. The mental health of those individuals who've lived under siege for 14 years in such a tightly enclosed space that is regularly bombed is something that is beyond belief. So Corona in Gaza doesn't come on the back of very strong public infrastructure, freely moving people, and an economy that is able to withstand it. It comes on the back of some atrocious living conditions, and this could very, very easily escalate.
And yet the authorities, they are preparing with 2 quarantine facilities and 18 additional facilities. Is that not enough?
Oh, I don't believe it is at all, because quarantine will only stop additional people coming into the facility, into the Gaza Strip, where you already have individuals that are living in multi-generational families, in very, very tight living accommodations. This could be disastrous, and enforcing any curfew or quarantine and having people isolated, which has been a very effective measure in other places, is just not a luxury that Gazans have.
You talked earlier about a hugely damaged infrastructure. Tell us more about the state of the health system, particularly years after this blockade.
So, for instance, at the Lady Fatima Trust, we have 2 specific areas we support. And I think it's important to look at this, because we tend to look at statistics as if every human being just counts as one. But we support a deaf community there. So imagine a child that's not been to school for weeks on end, but is deaf, and his parents have got to try and explain to him how to remain safe during the quarantine conditions. The majority of Gazans don't have access to clean water on a regular basis. How do you wash your hands with antibacterial wash when you don't have access to water? Even audiology equipment for these deaf schools is difficult to get hold of, let alone the ITU facility. The other community we regularly work with are children who are dependent on dialysis and long-term medical treatment. Again, for them, being quarantined is not an option. They need to get out of their homes and have these dialysis units serve them. So again, it's not something where it's a luxury that we can just postpone for them to receive their treatments, or for their medical facilities to be diverted for corona victims, as important as it is for those people to be treated. But long-term care needs to be looked after in a population where the majority of youth are unemployed and also already dependent on food aid. This will only make them even more dependent on food aid, with even fewer resources to get around.
Mukhtar, best of luck with all you're doing. Mukhtar Karim, thank you very much indeed for joining us live on RT UK.
Thank you for having me.